Hello, dear friends. All Cobra reports reveal very interesting but difficult to believe information. If you don't believe it, you can take it as a science fiction story. Opinion piece. Triumph of Light. Assured release. Defeat of the Chimera. Positive timeline. Everything done will be undone. A great awakening is coming. The being lacking at the threshold. Project to inhabit an asteroid. Planet X about to be discovered. New ideas to colonize space. Let's start. The forces of light have recently obtained a great victory as revealed by Cobra at the Thailand Session Conference. The last well has been cleaned and all Chimera individuals in that well and on the planet's surface has been neutralized. Thus, the Chimera has been completely defeated and no longer exists. The victory of light is celebrated in India every year at Diwali or Festival of Lights, equivalent to Saint Lucy in Christian tradition, patron saint of the blind. During Diwali, people wear new clothes, share sweets, and set off firecrackers and fireworks. It is the beginning of the Hindu New Year and one of the most important and significant joyful nights of the year. This year, the party will be on November 12th. In Greek mythology, the chimera is a monster creature that is usually described as a hybrid being with parts of different animals. It usually has the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the tail of a snake. The chimera was known to be ferocious and difficult to defeat. With the elimination of the chimera, cosmic evolution towards the light is no longer in danger, and the positive timeline has been stabilized. This means that the final victory of the light and the liberation of this planet is assured, as there are no timelines with negative outcomes left. With the removal of the last well and its central computer, the biochips can no longer set audio and video signals anywhere. The main control network collapsed. The biochips are now just dark electromagnetic portals whose power is rapidly decreasing and will be eliminated very soon. The main control network of the surface of the planet is now the scalar surveillance network through electromagnetic networks. These networks are much less reliable as they can scan human activity with a resolution between 6 and 15 centimeters, depending on the network used. The lurker. The main factor now delaying the liberation of the planet is the lurker, or prola, with a subquantum anomaly. The forces of light are removing as much of this anomaly as possible to then safely trigger the event. They are also releasing information gradually, because if too much was released at once, it would trigger too strong an anomaly purification process. This is the main reason why information is released gradually. The main factor now delaying planetary liberation is the lurker, with its subquantum anomaly. The meaning of lurker is one who lies hidden as if in an ambush, or a person who reads messages on an internet discussion forum or social media platform, but doesn't participate in any dialogue. The lurker directly influences the human unconscious by manifesting subquantum anomalies in quantum fluctuations at the weakest point of the human energy system. These points are biochips on the physical plane and implant remains of anomalies on the etheric, astral, and mental planes. These quantum fluctuations then facilitate Murphy's Murphy's law on the physical plane, depression on the astral plane, and confusion on the mental plane. Definition: the term lurker or stalker is used in combination in the context of online communities such as forums, social networks, and discussion groups. Refers to a person who observes or stalks an online community without actively participating in conversations or contributing content. Lurkers are typically passive community members who read others' posts but rarely, if ever, comment, post, or visibly interact. The being that lurks at the threshold is a reference to a concept in horror literature. It is commonly associated with horror writer Howard Phillips Lovecraft and his childhood mythos. The threshold refers to the boundary between the known and the unknown, and the being that lurks at the threshold is usually a supernatural entity or being that stands on the edge of human perception, often causing terror or madness to those who encounter it. The being that lurks on the threshold often represents the incomprehensible and terrifying of the cosmos, and its appearance usually leads to the degradation of the sanity of the characters who encounter it. It is a recurring theme in horror literature that symbolizes the unknown and is often associated with the work of Lovecraft and his influence on the cosmic horror genre. Black nobility. Cobra is of the opinion that the black nobility is now at the top of the food chain on this planet. It would be a secret group of powerful individuals that operates in the shadows and control events. They received the mandate from the Chimera 26,000 years ago to manage and control the surface population. The Venetian black nobility played a very important role in politics and society of the Republic of Venice, which was one of the most powerful city-states in Europe for much of its history. These individuals held high government positions and were influential in political and economic decision-making. Since the Chimera no longer exists, they connect with the stalker in with the lurker in his rituals and receive his guidance. Major families of the black nobility such as Orsini, Colonna, Torlonia, Teodoli, and Massimo claim descent from the Roman Empire. Extinction. Dark forces arrived on this planet 900,000 years ago and almost caused the extinction of humankind. Now they approach their final defeat. Approximately 1 million years ago, the Earth was populated by a few hundred thousand ancient human ancestors. But 900,000 years ago, there was a sudden drop in this population, causing the number of human breeding pairs to drop to fewer than 1,300. Or at least this is the latest claim from a team of Chinese and Italian genetic researchers who have just published a comprehensive historical analysis of the evolution of the human genome and its relationship to past population levels in the journal Science. To detect genetic traces of what was a near extinction level population collapse, the scientists analyzed genetic data from 3,154 individuals in 10 modern African populations and 40 non-African populations. Using this form of complex analysis, The researchers were able to detect a sharp decline in the breeding population of our distant human ancestors of almost 99% about 930,000 years ago. By measuring the lack of diversity of the genetic material transmitted in that period, they were able to calculate the number of the reproductive pairs among archaic human beings was reduced from about 100,000 to just 1,280. Human population numbers remained low for about 117,000 years after that, showing few signs of improvement. Only about 813,000 years ago did they begin to rise again. Astronomy. Planet X is about to be discovered. Is there an Earth-like planet in the distant Kuiper belt? New ideas are being born about how to colonize the solar system. A new article shows how to make an asteroid habitable in just 12 years. Asteroid selection focused on which would be the best candidate to transform into a rotating space habitat that could precisely mimic Earth's gravity. After a selection process, they decided on one in particular as a good candidate, Adira, which is 4.8 kilometers in diameter and even has its own moon, an asteroid 1 kilometer in diameter. It is not the closest asteroid, with its distance approximately 80 times that of the Moon. Still, its orbit is stable in the Goldilocks zone of a solar system, which would help stabilize the internal temperature of the habitat it would eventually become. The Goldilocks zone refers to the region in a solar system where conditions are neither too hot nor too cold, making the presence of liquid water and, in theory, life possible. Robotic tools would be used to excavate and extract materials from the asteroid. This could include minerals, water, and other resources necessary for life and construction. Habitable structures and environments would be created on the asteroid. This could be inflatable domes or other structures designed to protect colonists from the radiation, vacuum, and the extreme conditions of space. And systems would also be stabilized to manage and recycle resources, such as water and air, to sustain colonists with life. A great awakening is coming, and scientists are finally starting to look for life at the center of the galaxy. Repeated signals from the center of the Milky Way could be alien waving, a new study claims. A new search for extraterrestrial life aims to discover it by listening to radio pulses from the center of a galaxy. The frequency pulses are emitted naturally by stars called pulsars or pulsars, but humans also use them deliberately in technologies such as radar. Because these pulses stand out against the background radio noise of space, they are an effective way to communicate over long distances and an attractive target to listen to when searching for extraterrestrial civilizations. Scientists described the strategy for detecting star inhabitants in a new study published May 30th in the Astronomical Journal. Researchers led by Cornell University graduate student Akshay Suresh developed software to detect these repetitive frequency patterns and tested it on known pulsars to make it sure it could pick up the narrow frequencies. These frequency ranges are very small, about one-tenth of the width of the frequencies used by a typical FM radio station. The researchers then searched for data from the Greenback telescope in West Virginia using this method. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.